Hello everyone, we are back on the, I don't know what to call this thing. It's a 359, but we've got a 266 XP top end or cylinder machined clear on this. It's actually got decent squish, good enough timing numbers to work with, and I might do a little more machine work on it before we do the port work, but I'm thinking what we're going to do this afternoon is we need to come up with an intake block that'll bolt to this to where, here's what I'm going to replicate. 372 XP style intake. So what I've chose to make that out of is we have a hunk of Delrin stock here. I've already measured that intake. What we've got to come up with is the circumference of it alone is 30 millimeters, and it's about 13 inches deep to get the boot and the clamp on. The next thing we got to do is measure the width of this. I'm going to go a little wider than that for our bolt holes, just so we've got aided support. But that's what I'm going to do next, is we're going to measure this circumference and get a circle turned down. What I plan on doing first is I'm going to chuck this up in the lathe and start off by first machining down what exactly we need for that circumference and depth, which is we need to turn this down all the way down to 30 millimeters and basically about a ½ inch thick to get that intake boot and clamp assembly on it. Next, we need to get our flange or our intake, or the flange part of it, cut down. Showing 42. I'm going to go a little more than that, about 44 or 45, so I've got plenty of room to get my bolts in it. Then we've got to flatten the tops of it down to match this. And right here is kind of where we're at on that right now. I've also got to face the back of it. The intake part itself I think is done. I've got some grooves cut in it, but we're looking up. Well guys, here's where we're at. Of course, I'm going to have to open the port up larger in it, but we'll do that once it's bolted to the cylinder. Now what I'm going to do is lay out a gasket on the cylinder and get it cut out, holes punched in it, and then use it for the holes on this. Well guys, there is where we're at. It's kind of the gist, kind of the mock-up of it. Unfortunately, I went to open the hole on that and that intake bigger, and my other rotary tool snapped the cable. My Fordham's been sitting there, the cable snapped since the summer, so I broke two right in a row. I'm hoping that I have warranty on the Chicago Electric rotary tool. I think I got a 2-year replacement on it, but I've probably had it over 2 years, so I don't know, we'll see. And I've got a saw coming in the middle of the week to port for a person, and gonna have to go in here and see if I can get some Fordham cables sent. The place that sells that stuff, CC Specialties, they're not very far away in Tennessee, but yeah, it's a aftermarket junk 372 car. Being 100% sure I'm going to use that. That is a 455 Rancher throttle linkage I've started bending and modifying on. 372 intake boot. It's actually an X-Torque. The flange where your cable would go with just part of the cable snipped off. The only factory looking air filter I found that a person might be able to use, and of course a 350 one is way too small for that. You would have to get a hold of a 357 or 359 intake setup, or I may just end up building a small stack for it, or just not running anything at all. At the end of the day, it is just something we're playing with. No big deal. I would have to make that intake block much shorter, which could be done. I could try again, make a shorter one, bring all that in 1/4 inch or so, and I've got a 372 elbow and air filter that you can make fit down in there, but the way the throttle linkage works on these is maybe you can get a look there. That kind of slides back in it. Like your 340s, 345, 350 up to 359. 455 Rancher, Husky 440. A lot of them use that same design. I mean, it works good. It's easy to replace if something screws up, but I think we can make this run enough to get it to run. Honestly, if that was a good carburetor and I had a little glue behind that thing and a muffler on it and a ring on it, I could put some fuel in it and make it bust off. Well, minus an impulse, but that's nothing. We can put an impulse port in on one of the transfers, or bottom of the cylinder, punch a little hole in the case. That's a non-issue. But this will be something we'll pull out every now and then. I'll make a little video on it, and it'll get set back under the bench for a while, which is probably what's going to happen now. I've decided I've got a bunch of these 2 series anti-vibe things laying here. I think we're just going to stiffen up the suspension on it with a few of those. Get one mounted to the handlebar and the chassis somewhere, and the 2 up under the bottom should stiffen the thing up really good. Again, this is probably not ever going to be a work saw. I think I've got a 16 inch or an 18 inch set up over there we could throw on it. Just something to pull out and play with, and well, to see if we could do it and make it work. And so far, I think we're seeing some progress. But again, yeah, just something we're going to pull out every now and then, do a little video on. Just an experimental build, a true Frankenstein build. But anyway, guys, as always, thank y'all for watching. Everybody have a good one.